Hope is a beacon through storms, sings through dark skies, is a thing with feathers. What gives us hope is you, your belief in birds, your commitment to their habitats, your support turning our shared vision into action. So we ask, what does hope look like when we follow the science? What does hope sound like when we share it with the next generation? And what does hope feel like when we work together to care for the land? Let us show you. Hope takes flight in discovery, in the questions we ask, in the answers we uncover.
I'm David Pavlaki, and I work as a research scientist at Bird Conservancy of the Rockies. We are in the Pawnee National Grassland, and it is some of the last remaining intact shortgrass prairie in eastern Colorado. Pollinator communities aren't doing very well in these agricultural-dominated landscapes. And it's really important to manage those pollinator communities because that's the way the prairie is renewed, and that we can keep these islands of biodiversity in our agricultural landscapes and also provide important bird habitat along the way. We're collaborating with the Farm Service Agency to study a program called the Conservation Reserve Program. So this is a program that private landowners can engage with and take cropland out of production and restore perennial grass cover.
My name is Matthew. I am a pollinator field technician with the Bird Conservancy of the Rockies for the 2025 field season. We are looking at the different compositions of plants as well as the populations and diversity of pollinators such as bees, wasps, and butterflies. We set up 3 different transects. On each transect, we use this butterfly net to do arthropod surveys. We will go up and down, sweeping along the grass. We'll get all sorts of grasshoppers, beetles, spiders. After we're done with the transect, we transfer anything that's in the nets into a plastic bag, and then after that's done, they'll be sent over to CSU where an entomologist will identify them.
My name's Grace. I'm a pollinator technician with Bird Conservancy of the Rockies. So the butterfly surveys, we walk along one of the transects for 10 minutes and we're visually observing the butterflies. For the vegetation inventory, we use the Doppelmayr frame to calculate the percentages of grasses, forbs, flowering forbs, bare ground, and litter cover. And
so we can maintain these processes that are going on that act to renew the prairie, like the pollinator communities, and provide habitat for species in decline, such as mountain plover, burrowing owl, loggerhead shrike, prairie falcon, ferruginous hawk, those kind of species. The beacons of hope that I see are agricultural producers, the farmers and the ranchers. They make their living off of these lands, and so they know a lot about how a prairie functions. In addition to providing food to feed the planet, they are becoming more and more interested in the legacy of these prairies to preserve for future generations.
Hope grows when it is shared, from teacher to student, from one generation to the next.
My name is Becky Heath. I am the Assistant Education Director for Bird Conservancy of the Rockies, and one of my core components of my job is running our Bird Camps summer programs. We offer day and overnight camp experiences for ages 4 to 17. Our philosophy with bird camps is to really connect and engage kids outside. We want them to explore, learning about the natural world and about themselves. We've designed our programs in a progression so that starting with our wild nestlings at 4 and 5, we are building that appreciation and level of comfort in nature. As they grow through the stages of our day camps, we move into our progressive camps, which are designed intentionally to help kids build the skills they would need to go to an overnight camp. Once they're at overnight camp, we're really diving deep into the different ways that not only can they appreciate ecology and continue to build the connections that are surrounding people, birds, and land, but also thinking about how they might see themselves in that process later in life, whether that's the role of an ornithologist or something else that gets to fulfill the joy they felt at camp. Big hope that I have, that Bird Conservancy has as a whole through these programs, is that we have built stewards of birds, of the land, for years to come. Throughout camp programs, we see campers having a spark moment, having a moment where they are fully immersed, fully connected, and really invested in the natural world around them, whether that's through birds or through the ecosystems that those birds live within. We see those moments where I feel a sense of hope through their actions, through their appreciation and grown understanding that they really are that beacon of hope for us. Those birds, those campers, so deeply intertwined through education. Sense of belonging, that sense of connection that they felt at camp with birds, with each other, is such a motivating factor in keeping them connected. It gives me so much hope that they're going to go forward in life, caring deeply, like we do, about protecting our birds and the natural world.
Hope is rooted in the land, in every acre restored, and every hand that helps it thrive.
My name is Steve Storrs. We are on a piece of property that we've owned for a little over 10 years. When I walked on this property for the first time, I thought, man, there's so much work to be done here.
My name is Kyle Deshane, and I'm a wildlife habitat biologist with Bird Conservancy of the Rockies. I came out to this property to meet with the landowners because they were interested in improving forest health and really creating a property that was suitable for wildlife, that provided great habitat conditions for birds, for deer, for turkeys, for all the wildlife that we have in this part of the state. I saw a forest that needed a lot of work, a forest that was a lot different than the way it used to be. Overall, just poor conditions when it comes to both forest health and wildlife habitat.
Probably 30 acres of the total is in need of some sort of thinning. Well, as soon as I started, I knew I couldn't do it by myself. You peck away at it, but you really can't make a big dent in things unless you really get serious about it. Kyle's been instrumental in, giving me the advice that I needed.
Yeah, as a wildlife biologist with Bird Conservancy of the Rockies, I also work with the Natural Resource Conservation Service to help implement forest restoration and wildlife habitat work throughout this area. And the funding to accomplish a lot of this habitat work is funded through Farm Bill programs. Our job here is to come in and restore the forest to what it used to be like, because that is the habitat type that all of our wildlife are used to and best suited for.
I guess first and foremost is to make this land more resilient to fire and to insect infestation.
We've completed about 10 acres of forest restoration. We've got another 5 planned to go. And what that looks like is reducing the forest density, reestablishing meadows across the property, and bringing back the abundant understory life that we used to have throughout the forests.
The forest almost immediately looks healthier, smells healthier, looks better.
We're working across 15 acres here. That's a big deal when you think about a deer living in 15 acres or, a cavity with a bunch of nuthatches in it. They're just traveling around all 15 acres. They're able to find suitable habitat with great conditions. We're really able to spread out the work and ensure that we are creating beneficial conditions kind of all across the property, not just in one single specific area.
We're going to plug away and get as much done as we can and hope that we can make a difference. And I know we are. I mean, I can see it in the trees already, that we've made a difference here.
Hope is a thing with feathers, and with you, hope has wings. Together, we are beacons of hope for birds, for people, for the land, and for our shared future.